I'm not... Hello everybody and welcome to another video. It's Kat. Today I'm here with a very quick video for you, but not for me. So if you remember my two TBR videos for the month of April, I had a few books in there and I have only managed to read one of them. I decided to not stress over how many I'm able to read after all and just go with the flow basically. To choose my next read for the month, I decided to do a try chapter with me video basically, and we're going to read one chapter, or if there's a prologue, the prologue as well, from each of the three books that I have next in my reading list, in my TBR. I'm in front of my little shelf. It's not the whole of my books, but it's the books I display basically. And usually these are my unread books. And here are the three books that are in my TBR. Next, some of the books, but the three books that I want to read for the readathons that are still ongoing. Hopefully I can read all of them before the end of the month, but I don't really think so. Anyway, basically I want to see which of these three books intrigues me the most, so that I can start it and hopefully finish it first and then move on to the second and then to the third. I don't know a lot about these books. I only know that I'm most excited about Legendborn by Tracy Dion because I like the premise a lot and because I have also heard that many people liked it, although I haven't heard so many good things about the sequel. That's a worry for another day. The next book is Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson, and this is a continuation sequel series of the Remnant Chronicles series, which I had mixed feelings about, but I have heard that this book, this sequel series, is very good. It's a duology. And the third book is Rivers of London by Ben Aronovitz. This is actually a very interesting book for me because I have never heard about it. I have never seen anybody read it. I haven't gone to Goodreads to see how it's received by the bookish community, but from the BookTube and BookTok and Bookstagram community, I've never heard anything, so I'm very intrigued. I'm most excited about some of these books, and for example, for this book, I'm not so excited about. I'm thinking that I will go backwards in popularity and start with this book to see what I think about it without being affected by the other books, and then proceed to this book because my excitement for this is intermediate, let's say. I'm not dying to read it, but I'm also not interested in reading it, if that makes sense. And I will leave this for last because I really want to read this, and I'm afraid that if I pick this up I won't be able to stop reading. Hopefully, I mean that's the dream. Anyway, so I will now proceed to reading, and I'll see you in the end to see what book I choose. This is London as you've never seen it before, a city of wonders and terrors, a city of ancient secrets which is haunted by its past, a city where you are never far from magic, a city Peter Grant will help you discover. Probationary Constable Peter Grant dreams of being a detective in London's Metropolitan Police. Too bad his superior plans to assign him to the Case Progression Unit, where the biggest threat he'll face is a paper cut. But Peter's prospects change in the aftermath of a puzzling murder when he gains exclusive information from an eyewitness who happens to be a ghost. Peter's ability to speak with the lingering dead brings him to the attention of Detective Chief Inspector Thomas Nightingale, who investigates crimes involving magic and other manifestations of the uncanny. Now, as a wave of brutal and bizarre murders engulfs the city, Peter is plunged into a world where gods and goddesses mingle with mortals, and the long-dead evil is making a comeback on a rising tide of magic. Set in the world of the Remnant Chronicles, when outlawed leader Jace meets reformed thief Cassie. When the patriarch of the Ballinger Empire dies, his son Jace becomes its new leader. Even nearby kingdoms bow to the strength of this outlaw family who have always governed by their own rules. But a new era looms on the horizon, set in motion by a young queen, which makes her the target of the dynasty's resentment and anger. At the same time, Kazi, a legendary former street thief, is sent by the queen to investigate transgressions against the new settlements. When Kazi arrives in the forbidden land of the Ballingers, she learns that there is more to Jace than she thought. As unexpected events spiral out of their control, bringing them intimately together, they continue to play a cat-and-mouse game of false moves and motives in order to fulfill their own secret missions. After her mother dies in an accident, 16-year-old Bree Matthews wants to escape. A residential program for bright high schoolers seems like the perfect opportunity, until she witnesses a magical attack her very first night on campus. A flying demon feeding on human energies, a secret society of so-called legendborn that hunt the creatures down, a mysterious mage who calls himself a Merlin and who attempts and fails to wipe Bree's memory of everything she saw. The mage's failure unlocks Bree's own unique magic and a buried memory from the night her mother died. Now Bree will do whatever it takes to discover the truth, even infiltrate the Legendborn. But when the Legendborn reveal themselves as the descendants of King Arthur's knights and foretell a magical war, Bree must decide how far she'll go for the truth. Should she use her magic to take the society down or join the fight? I read the first parts of these 3 books. The downside is that Rivers of London and Legendborn had quite big chapters, so I didn't read to the end because it would take the whole afternoon and all the light would go and then I wouldn't film this part of the video, which is the most important part. But I read the entirety of the first chapter of Dance of Thieves and I'll give you my thoughts on them now. Rivers of London feels like an older kind of book, of novel. Well, it was published 12 years earlier, but yeah, it feels older. It has some comic elements. The main POV has some funny and sarcastic comments, and it really drew me in, especially the story, because it starts right away. From the first page, we get to the point of the character finding a corpse, and it's actually so fun. He actually met a ghost that started telling him how this corpse died. This book really drew me in. The second segment I read was from Dance of Thieves. Honestly, the positive about this chapter was that it was short, which isn't saying much about the book, really, does it? We got reintroduced to the world of the Remnant Chronicles, and the thing is that I think after I finished the Remnant Chronicles, I fell into a little bit of a reading slump for the really simple reason that I didn't enjoy where the story went after the second book. Actually, after the first book. I loved the first book, especially the second time I read it. And the first, to be honest. I loved the first book, and then the second and the third went into a totally different direction for me. I mean, in a direction that is very usual for YA novels. I think it failed to surprise me, basically. We started getting back into this world that I finished a few months ago, and I still couldn't remember the references. I'm definitely not reading this yet. I don't think this is the right time for me. I'm in a headspace where I don't think I will enjoy it. And when I feel ready, I want to really enjoy it because I have heard so many amazing things and I don't want to pass on this opportunity. So yeah, this goes down for a bit. Legendborn, this actually had a prologue that is basically said 3 months before chapter 1 starts. It gives you the past where the protagonist's mom was just found dead in a car accident in a hit and run. She's devastated. We start with this dark topic, and then in chapter 1 we have quite a lot of inner monologue on how she feels and how she copes, but really how she's not coping anyway. And then something happens, but I stopped reading, although I really wanted to keep reading because the first chapter was also about 30 pages long, just like in Rivers of London. Final thoughts, because I will start confusing myself if I talk too much about either of these books. Before I get to which book I am going to start, I'm going to say that for sure it isn't this book. As I've already mentioned, I want to read this at a much later point in time when I won't feel so slumpy about the Remnant Chronicles, possibly. And between those two, even though I like the humor in this one and I really wanted to see where the story is going, this one still intrigues me the most, based on what I know about it and also based on how the segment I read stopped. The protagonist was very afraid about her best friend, and I think it also fits this mood of dark academia that I'm in right now, and you'll see why in the next video. I don't know if it will be the next or another one, but yeah. I think Legendborn wins, but I have to mention that Rivers of London is a close second, which was a total surprise for me because I've never seen it anywhere before. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know which of these books you have read and what your thoughts are on them. Because anyway, first I want to finish my current read and then I'll start Legendborn. Thank you so much for watching. See you in another video. Bye-bye.
We belong together, me and you forever.